Hi, I've been gone for a little while. I'm sorry about that. I really haven't been busy, haven't had much going on, actually. I just haven't felt like recording. So I do now. And to make up for the time lost, I'm going to record 5 videos and upload them from Monday to Friday. And they should mostly be about America. I may make one non-America video just to break it all up. But for the most part, Uncle Steve and I are going to be teaching you guys about America. Same shitposty style. That's not going anywhere. If you don't like it, you don't like it. If you do, you do. And I hope you guys do. I try to make it funny. And if you do, like and subscribe would be great. If you don't, it doesn't matter that much. You don't got to. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. America is a nation that was built on blood, sweat, and tears of our fallen soldiers beating the British in a war of independence. Everyone knows, Declaration of Independence, signed 1776 on July 4th. Thomas Jefferson, we got our Independence Day. Hell yeah, brother. But, we were fighting before that. We had the Boston Massacre 6 years before, in 1770. Although the revolution hadn't started, it was clear that it was going to. It's clear something was going to happen if Britain wanted to hold on to their colonies, and it was clear that it was going to be through blood and toil. And 5 years after that, in 1775, a little battle happened. The first battle of the Revolution, called Battle of Lexington and Concord. This happened on April 19th, and this sparked an event called the Shot Heard Around the World, and it sent a message saying, hey, Britain, we're gonna fight, we're independent now, screw you, stick to your little islands in Europe. On that same day in 1775, another battle was being fought, except a lot more north, all the way up in Massachusetts, in the British-controlled city of Boston. And although, yes, it was an American city, the British controlled it. They massacred a ton of people, and then it became under their control at the start of the Revolution. So the Americans were like, no, we're not going to have this. We're not just going to let you capture and take one of our strongest and most important cities at the beginning of the war. That's stupid. Why would we let you do that? So they started a siege. Started sieging the city. It happened on the exact same day of the Battle of Lexington and Concord. But it would take almost a year for the Americans to finally break through and actually win. And this was an important battle because, early 1776, still got several years left of fighting, and you recaptured one of your most important port cities. Very important deal, very big deal, and it did a massive blow to the British. Unfortunately, it just took almost a year for the Americans to do, and it was a pretty bloody battle. Now, the second battle I want to talk about, or technically the third, that also happened in 1775, was the first American victory of the war, because unfortunately, Battle of Lexington and Concord was a British victory. As much as it pains my heart to say, the British did win a couple battles. Unfortunately, they won a lot of battles. But we won the important ones, and we won the war, so who really lost, But our first true victory happened on May 10th of 1775, and, excuse my pronunciation, but that was the Battle of Fort Ticonderoga. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but I'm pretty sure I did. If I didn't, roast me in the comments or something. I don't know. So, the Battle of Fort Ticonderoga was the first American victory. It was a big deal. It really wasn't. It wasn't a big a battle. The British didn't really take that much of a blow. We didn't really have much to gain, but we did gain some morale. And you know how important morale is in a revolution. Because if you don't got much, what's the point of fighting in a revolution? And when we proved to the British that we could win, the American spirit just bolstered even further. Now, the fourth and final battle I'm going to talk about that happened this year, unfortunately, was not so much of a morale boost. This happened on June 17th, and it's a pretty famous battle. You might have heard of it. It's one of the first major battles of the war. The Battle of Bunker Hill. Not that big of a deal, except it really was. A really bloody battle. And the Americans fought desperately to hold on to Bunker Hill, but the British just had overwhelming amounts of men, and they had more ammo, and by the time the Americans ran out of ammo, the British just basically had a free victory. But even after we ran out of ammo, we still fought till the last man. Well, that's not true, we surrendered. But we still fought desperately with our bayonets and skin and teeth. And you know, it might have been a British victory, but it still cost them heavily, and it showed them how much we were willing to fight to protect and save our lands from their tyranny. 1776 was a really interesting year for America. This was the year the Declaration of Independence was signed. Thomas Jefferson and a small committee of people in the Continental Congress got together and worked on the Declaration of Independence, and on July 4, 1776, sent out to the world saying, hey, we are our own independent country, free from Great Britain, and we are the United States of America. And that was, that's when everyone knew, crap, these guys ain't messing around. So, 3 battles I'm going to talk about, and one I've kind of already talked about, but I'm going to talk about 3 major battles that happened this year. First one, we're going back to the Siege of Boston. And like I said, this was an American victory. It ended this year on March 17th of 1776, and the Americans won and retook the city of Boston away from the British tyranny. Second battle, we weren't really so lucky, and it sucks, because this was another major port city, New York. Except it's not called the Battle of New York, it's called the Battle of Long Island, or the Battle of Brooklyn. And this happened on August 17th, 1776, so after the whole Boston fiasco. But unfortunately, we lost New York and Long Island and Brooklyn to the British, which was a major, major trading hub for us. And when we lost it, it kind of dealt a morale blow to us, which sucked, but we kept fighting, we stood strong, and we knew we would retake New York. And the third battle. In this battle, I've often heard referred to as the turning point of the war. And it's the Battle of Trenton. And a lot of you guys might know this war, or this battle, but not by the name. This was when George Washington undertook his famous crossing of the Delaware River. And, everyone knows that, they surprised the British, and they won with ease, and the British in confidence, and it showed the world, hey, we're going to support the Americans, they're going to win this war, we want to be on the winning side. At least that's what France and Spain did, and their support really helped out. But the Battle of Trenton wasn't against the British. We fought the British, but the soldiers weren't British. They were mercenaries from German states in the Holy Roman Empire that the British had hired to control Trenton. And, it was just after Christmas. It was very, very early in the morning on December 26th, and we had surprised the Germans, and when we got in there, they were also drunk and hungover and unprepared that they just surrendered, and we had retaken Trenton super easily. And this is the reason why I say this is the turning point of the war, is because after this battle, France decided to send troops and money and guns to us, and Spain decided to directly support us on the ground through Louisiana, and also send us money and guns. Which, is kind of a big deal when you have no money, very few guns, and are fighting an enemy with, 30 times the population with all their colonies. It's going to be kind of hard time. So when you get 2 of their rival nations sending you money and men and guns, it's going to be really helpful. And, it was. It helped us out a lot. And it's the only thing that I can think of right now that I can thank France for. So, good job, France. You got a thumbs up from Uncle Steve. The 1780s were an important time for the American Revolution. Technically, it was the last 2 years of the Revolution, 1780 and 1781. I'm not going to talk much about 1780 because I don't know a lot about that year, and it's not really that many important things happened that year. However, 1781, this is important because the final battle of the Revolution, I say that in quotation marks because we'll get to that later. However, this was the Battle of Yorktown. A lot of us know it. Some of us don't, but a lot of us should know it if you're American. If you're not, I don't know what your education system is like, but if you're American, you should know this battle. You have 1781 started on September 28th, lasted till October 19th, and it ended up in an American victory, forcing the British troops to the port of Yorktown, but British ships couldn't get there to help them retreat because the French fleet was blocking them from doing that. Another point to the French. Wow, doing a lot more than for us than I thought. But the French blocked the British fleet from getting in, so the British couldn't retreat. So it was either death or surrender. So they chose surrender, and this marked the final battle of the war. The end of the American Revolution. We won at Yorktown, yay! And the reason why I say that with quotation marks, because, yeah, we won at Yorktown. And it did end to the revolution, but it didn't end the fighting. The actual last battle of the war happened out in Kentucky a year later, in August 1782. Couldn't find the actual date, but I found August 1782. And this was the Battle of Blue Licks. And this happened out in Kentucky, and it was a British and Native American forces surprise attacked the Kentucky militia, and although the Kentucky militia fought hard and actually almost won, due to numerical superiority and just the surprise attack element, the British did end up winning the final battle, unfortunately, but, we still won the war. And, you form a country, and you're like, man, we won the war, you gotta sign a peace treaty to end the war. To be like, hey, yeah, we own this, you own that, this is the borders, get it right. And so that's what they did. 2 years after the Battle of Yorktown. Because the British refused to recognize American independence, even though the fighting had been over for over a year at this point. However, King George, or a diplomat of King George, and several diplomats from America met in Paris on September 3rd, 1783, and signed the Treaty of Paris, which officially ended the American Revolution, ended hostilities between the British and the Americans, led to the British formally recognizing American independence and sovereignty, and opened up trade relations between the two countries again. However, this wasn't to last for that long, but I'm not going to get into that much this video. I'll let you guys find that out in the next video. So, that should be uploaded tomorrow, and if you're watching this from the future, that should already be uploaded. But I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and subscribe. Uncle Steve will know if you didn't. And yeah, have a great day.